Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're here, you're welcome. My name is Rosina Sharon, and I have missed you guys a lot. I have missed you guys a lot. It has been a while, yeah. I think I'm going to do a video explaining why I have been quiet on YouTube for that long, and there is too much noise going around. Let me tell you, I'll have to do a voiceover for this. But anyway, yeah, today we're going to do a full face makeup tutorial for beginners. And before you do that, kindly subscribe, share your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'll be reading all of them. Come either. And if you like the video, give it a big thumbs up. Without further ado, let us go straight into it. Hey guys, so we're going to start off by brushing the eyebrows up using a spoolie before you line the lower side of the brow. For lining, we're using the Davis No. 3 eye pencil. Going to follow the corner of the nose to know where exactly to start lining, where to curve where your natural eyebrows are curved. Make sure it is on the inner side of the brow, and then we're going to follow the lower lash line to know exactly where to stop. And make sure you follow the curve for the lower lash line. The curve is going upwards, not outwards. Okay, and we're just going to follow those 3 dots to line the lower side of the brow. Make sure the eye pencil is pointing towards your brow. It is not slanted at an angle. And make sure you don't use too much force as well. Then after to line the upper side of the brow, we are going to use a spoolie to level it. We are not going to drag it down, okay? And then around the inner corner, we are leaving a bit of space. So as we line towards where we're going to curve it down, make sure it's more of a straight line or a very slight angle, not a very sharp angle. So as you line downwards the curve, make sure it lines outwards so it meets the other one. You don't cut your eyebrow short. And then after that, we're just going to use the bar soap technique. Make sure the bar soap is wet, rub on it, and then we're going to use the white foam to brush through the eyebrows. Make sure after that you press it in first so it sticks to your skin, and then allow for it to dry before you start filling in. To fill in, we're just going to fill in the areas where we feel like there is a space, and then make sure you do it in a stroke like manner using very little force. Okay, around the inner corner, we're just going to create a shadow, so make sure your eye pencil is slanting towards that angle and create a shadow using very little force. And then after that, to clean, we're going to use a concealer 2 shades lighter than our skin tone. So I am going to use LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Fawn. And when you're applying the product onto the brush, make sure you do it side to side. Make sure the brush is flat, not an angled brush. And when you're cleaning, your brush should be seated, okay? Don't point it towards your brow. Make sure it is seated flat as you, so it gives you a very crisp line. Around the inner corner, we are leaving a bit of space. So around the inner corner, we're going to use a foundation instead of a concealer, a foundation that matches your skin tone. So make sure when you're cleaning, it merges into the concealer. And then after that, you can use your finger to blend in the edges, both edges around the inner corner, outer corner, or alternatively, you can just use a brush. Make sure you blend that in before you set your lids, okay? Very important. And then after that, we're going to set the lids first before we apply eyeshadow. We're using the Plouise eyeshadow base. I prefer using an eyeshadow base instead of just a concealer. We're going to use a fluffy brush, very important. And we're going to use the side of the brush, okay? We are not putting the product on top of the brush. The side. You see that angle? And that is the same angle we're going to use to blend. We're not pointing it towards. We are leaving it at that angle, seated by the side like that. So we're going to blend in starting from the lower lid going up. So make sure the lower lid is very blended fast, and to blend, you're just tapping. So as you go towards the upper side, it just blends into the concealer you used. The eyeshadow we're going for is Rios from Zikel Cosmetics, and we're going to do a smoky. Beginners, when you're doing a smoky, start with a dark brown shade. You're still a beginner. Don't go for black. It's going to overwhelm you, okay? So you're starting off using a smaller brush. Don't hold the brush too close to the bristles. Give it a bit of a distance, and make sure when you're applying this product, we're starting applying the product on the lower lid, and it is tap. Don't point that brush towards the place where you're blending. Make sure it's seated sideways and tap. And then make sure it goes all through the crease region. And then to blend it in, we're going to use a different brush, a bigger brush, still round and fluffy, and we're going for a lighter shade of brown. So we started with the darker shade of brown, lighter shade of brown, and you see how I have angled that brush. When it comes to blending the transition shades, make sure the brush is seated at that angle. It's sideways. The product is applied on the side of the brush. how you're going to blend. The brush is sideways, it's not pointing towards your eye. That is what I mean. And use circular motions, very little force, and you're only blending the edge of the first transition. It's very important, not above it, not below it, the edge. And then after that, use a finishing powder that matches your skin tone and just blend the upper side. And then after that, I'm just going to apply mascara. For a beginner, you can leave it at mascara. For me, because I don't have no natural lashes, we are going to apply some falsies. Make sure you leave a bit of space around the inner corner so the falsies look a bit natural, okay? So moving on to the skin, we're starting with skin prep first. The first step for skin prep is normally a serum. I'm using the vitamin C serum from Shaarz Cosmetics. Apply that all over, allow for it to set first before you move to the next step. Next step, immediately after serum, is sunscreen. I'm using the Bondi Sands sunscreen, SPF 50. It is suitable for normal to dry skin. If you have oily skin, I would recommend you go for the sunscreen. This one is very, very moisturizing. You don't need to add moisturizer on top of it. You can go directly to primer after. But if you have oily skin and you have used sunscreen that is not very moisturizing, add moisturizer first before the primer, okay? And then for primer, we are tapping. For me, because I have dry skin, I'm going to apply primer around the T-zone area, that is nose, around the lip and forehead. Again, tap. If you have oily skin, you can apply serum all over the areas you feel like you have open pores, okay? And then after that, we are moving on to foundation now after skin prep, and I'm going to use the Maybelline Superstay. I was looking for the 24-hour wear, I did not get it, so I'm using the 30-hour wear. I don't like it. So if you're going for Maybelline Superstay, make sure you go for 24-hour wear. The 30-hour wear is very, very bad. Not very bad, but it's not as good as 24-hour wear. We're going to use sorry guys, we are going to use a beauty blender to blend that in. And I was supposed to explain a step I just missed. So for blending, we're tapping. Make sure the beauty blender is damp, but squeeze out all the excess water on the beauty blender, okay? Squeeze it out, all of it. You can use even a dry towel to squeeze out the excess water. It will not blend well if it is still damp, okay? Make sure you squeeze out the excess water completely. Around the forehead, for blending, you start in between the brows. As you go up just above the brows, you're going to blend left to right, right to left. This technique is very important, especially for beginners. So you don't use too much product around the hairline. Around the nose, we're just going to use the product remaining on the brush, and we're not applying foundation on the under eye, okay? Then after that, now we're going to highlight. We're using the very same concealer we used to clean the brows. You can use any concealer that is 2 shades lighter. We're going to start off by highlighting the under eye, and this technique is very important for beginners. On the tip of the same beauty blender you use there, just add a bit of product and start blending from the inner corner. Make sure the inner corner is blended completely fast before you move it going towards the outer corner. Don't be in a hurry to just spread the product all over the place. Start blending from the inner corner. Blend. Make sure it is blended, then you can move towards the outer corner. That applies on both of the eyes, under eyes, sorry. Same technique when it comes to the nose. On the tip of the beauty blender, just a tiny bit of product, then blend. This technique works best for beginners. Don't just go applying the concealer under eye, you leave it there, forehead, you leave it there, you move, no. Because this concealers dry out very quick. You're still a beginner, you don't know how to blend. So you need to blend as quick as you can as you go. Again, blending the highlighter, rather the concealer around the forehead, left to right, right to left. Make sure it's blended into the foundation. And then after that, beginners, it's very important for you to set immediately after applying the concealer. Immediately you blended in the concealer, set it. We're going to use a finishing powder that matches the shade of the concealer you used, okay? That matches the shade of the concealer you used. Any finishing powder that is 2 shades lighter than your skin tone, you can use that. And we are going to set the areas where we have applied highlighter. So starting from the under eye. And for this, you press it in. And make sure you use a generous amount of product. It's very important, beginners. Generous amount of product. Don't use small product. Generous amount. Not too much, but a generous amount. It's going to give you a very flawless blend. And you can do that around the lip as well. So after that, we're just going to powder contour. You can use a powder that is 2 shades darker than your skin tone. If you don't know where exactly to contour your cheek, you can place your hand like that And you're going to use a fluffy brush, very important. The technique here is just lift, drop, and you're going to blend it upwards, okay? You blend it upwards. And please don't use too much product. You're still a beginner. Don't go for a very dark shade and don't go for too much product. Around the forehead, you're going to contour, blending into the hairline. Okay, you don't have to nose contour as a beginner. Let nobody force you to nose contour. Don't nose contour. You're still a beginner. You're learning. It's not a must. Okay, embrace your natural nose. Then I'm going to use a cream eyeliner on the waterline alone. Okay, no, not anywhere else. And then after that, you can use a finishing powder that matches your skin, just to blend all the makeup together, except for the under eye. Don't go over that under eye area with more powder. Okay, blend in all the rest, including your neck. Very important. Then after that, we're going to set using a setting spray. For me, I'm going to use a Milani Make It Last. The original version is better. Don't go for the dewy or matte. The original Milani Make It Last original setting spray. Then after that, I'm just going to add a bit of shimmer around the inner corner, the edge of the inner corner, and mascara on the lower lashes. If you can, please do it. It makes such a big difference, trust me. And then after that, you know, I was filming for a brand. I forgot to film the lip liner, but the lipstick I'm using is from Fabiola Beauty. We are doing a collaboration with Fabiola Beauty, guys, and the lipsticks are amazing. Please get you one. It's Fabiola Beauty UG. I'm going to put it on the description box. Look at that lipstick, yo. And that is it, guys. Can you see how my skin is looking like my skin? We just advanced a little. We're not doing too much. I beg, let me know if you have learned something from this tutorial. It has been my pleasure to teach you all, and thank you so much for watching. I shall be seeing you on my next video. Bye bye.